Hi, Carl Schilling here with you again today for Financial Transformation. This is our fifth episode. So we're working our way down the road to that magnificent pathway to financial independence. Now, before we get started, once again, I'm the founder and CEO of the Advocacy Network, and that was created to eliminate all forms of financial victimization. And as you know by now, we do this by creating awareness, which this financial transformation is a big piece of awareness. We also provide financial literacy education in the form of those financial transformation workshops, always free when we do them publicly or digitally. And lastly, helping people just like you become financially independent. And that's what we are doing here within financial transformation. It's so important. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 mental anchors that are keeping you financially dependent. There are 5 very distinct scenarios that just pound on us in our mind's eye. And once again, those are holding us back. Now, again, as always, this will be available in the video. It'll be right down here in the corner, and you'll see it. It's a white paper, 5 mental anchors that are keeping you financially dependent. So let's take a peek at that and start off with kind of something we need to understand. You know, your mind is the greatest asset you have. All of us have, free and clear, the greatest computer ever created on the face of the earth. Nothing like it, okay? You know, people talk about artificial intelligence, they talk about everything, but we have virtual, real intelligence. We don't need artificial intelligence. We have it already. It's the greatest gift we have. But the mind is much like a garden, you know, and when you have a garden or even a farm, you know, you're always in a process of seeding and then planting and fertilizing to help it grow. And then most importantly, weeding, because what happens around all of that is that within all the good, the weeds start to pop up. And those weeds tend to cause a lot of problems. Now, what are weeds in our mind? In our mind, weeds are the negative thoughts, are the reinforced thoughts. Remember, first law of psychology, you get more of what you reinforce. Those reinforced thoughts constantly telling us that we can't succeed, we're not going to succeed, oh, poor me, those kinds of things. But these anchors exist inside there, so we have to kind of eliminate them. Let's look at the first one. The first anchor is uncertainty. You know, uncertainty exists because we basically are not able to allow ourselves to find that very, very strong comfort zone. You know, that comfort zone where we can know with certainty that we are going to accomplish something. Now, the difficulty with that is because it takes a leap of faith in order for you to draw on to certainty. So it's much easier to be uncertain than it is to be certain, okay? Because it's almost like a safety net. You don't want to step out there and really say something or do something. Now, the second one is doubt. Doubt is a precursor to everything that can debilitate what we're doing. So you cannot live with doubt and actually accomplish something. Doubt is always going to hold you back. So doubt in the form of cause and effect, in the law of sowing and reaping, doubt can only bring one thing. Doubt can only bring upon you that very, very thing you're trying to avoid. So when you bring doubt in, you've kind of just anchored yourself down, and you've kind of really reflectively stuck yourself into the mud. It's impossible to grow your seeds of wealth and goodness and abundance when you're stuck in the mud. Now, before we move forward, something new I want to talk to you today about, which you'll have a video of this. We have basically what we call our inner circle here at the Advocacy Network. Now, you can become a member of the inner circle, and here's what it does for you. If you're a member of our inner circle, you're going to get 12 weeks of personally facilitated coaching and training on financial transformation and how to become financially independent. That's 12 weeks. That's pretty much 50 hours, 50 to 60 hours of really strong personalized coaching. So take a look at that. There'll be a little video in here that's 2-3 minutes, and it kind of tells you exactly what you can do and what you will have as an inner circle member. And I'd highly recommend it to anybody who truly wants to master and become part of the 5% and become financially independent. Now, back to our discussion on the 5 mental anchors that are kind of um, holding you back from financial independence, kind of making you financially dependent. The third one is kind of a culmination of the second one. We discussed the second anchor. The second anchor was doubt, and doubt only promulgates one thing. When you doubt, and you allow doubt to start to seep in to your overall mental outlook, that leads to fear. Fear always is the byproduct of doubt. There's no, uncertainty leads to doubt, and doubt leads directly to fear. Now, once you become fearful of something, you become sort of paralyzed. So fear kind of steps in the way, and the actions that you may take or the actions that you'd want to take, you constantly live in a state of fear. And if you're in that state of fear, what happens from there is that you end up with procrastination, because fear can go nowhere but having you make no decision. Now, people somehow have a misconception, and they constantly make this mistake to believe that making no decision, deciding to not make a decision, is in some format a safe or a good place to be, because I just will push it off to another time and make a decision later. But no decision is a decision. It's in fact, it's one of the most probably prolific decisions you can ever make, because no decision is a decision to do nothing. No decision is a decision to stay in the exact state and the exact state of mind and the exact status quo that you're in at this moment. So you make a decision to not make a decision, and that's procrastination. Now, that always comes from fear. Fear is the essence of that. When you fear, it's hard to take steps that are going to propel you onto a path of success. It's much easier. It's much easier in life to accept the fact or to make excuses and determine that there's always a reason for not being successful, and that those reasons are any number of things that basically you're not accountable for. And it's always something else. It's always external to you. It could be a person, a place, a condition, a circumstance, but it's never you. And that stems from uncertainty, leading into doubt, coming right into the real paralyzing factor of fear. And then once fear enters into it, you procrastinate. You tend to do nothing. So you just basically stay in that level of fear. Now, these things can all be broken. These things can all be just exploded, but we have to come to the right mindset, and we have to go back into our seeding, planting, fertilization, and we need to eliminate these weeds. We need to pluck these weeds out, as painful as they may be, because uncertainty is a weed. Doubt is a weed. Fear is a weed. Okay, all of these things are working against us, and that's why 95% of people become financially dependent, because so few people can take control of this and rip the weeds out of the implantation in our minds. So now, what I wanted to mention today, again, before we move forward, especially for you real estate professionals, I know we do have a lot of real estate professionals who kind of pay attention to financial transformation. I want to tell you about our friends over at EXP. EXP is definitely where the puck is going to be. EXP is a company that's agent owned. It is providing a fully 3D virtual environment unlike anything else. You can do all your business virtually, and it's truly, truly the opportunity to grow direct, residual, and passive income. The only opportunity in real estate where you can get direct, residual, and passive income. And if you follow us at Financial Transformation, you know how important it is that you have direct, residual, and passive income. So call my friend Kyle Handy, and you'll see right here above my head, you'll have that link. Call Kyle, speak to them. They're very professional. They're great. They'll get you started. They'll explain to you how the program works. And certainly it's something you need to pay attention to. So give that a shot, EXP. Okay, now in getting back, we've talked about uncertainty, doubt, and fear being three of the main anchors. And now we get into the last couple of anchors, denial. Now, denial is sort of a kind of a protection barrier for your mind. It's one of those areas where you're protecting yourself from the truth and some of the reality. So you tend to deal in denial. So you went from uncertainty to doubt into fear. And the only way for you to really work with that and not constantly be in a panic is for you to deny that any of those circumstances exist. Okay. So, when doubt and fear are bringing you down, you tend to go into a state where you want to be comfortable psychologically with where you're at. So you go into denial. And denial is just a healthy defense mechanism. I mean, that's really all it is. It doesn't help us any. It's the same format in addiction. When you see people who are addicted, you notice what happens to people with addiction. They tend to live in a state of denial. They don't want to honor or recognize that they're addicted to something. They don't want to believe that they gave up the power to something else and that they have no control. They don't want to believe that. They believe they're in full control and that nothing else controls them, and this is not going on. So, in essence, they are being controlled by that addiction. So when we have bad mental prospects on money, and we have bad thoughts about money, and we have ridiculous beliefs and values about money, we tend to deny that exists. Okay, so it's easier to deny than move forward. Now, the last one, and this is the one that kind of comes fully from everything else. Everything else leads to this one stage, which is unhappiness. So we tend to then get into a state of unhappiness. Now, we've already been paralyzed by fear. We're in denial that we are paralyzed by fear. That's making us procrastinate. So we don't do the decisions we could do or should do, the ability to break through. And now we just live in this unhappy issue. So it's always what I like to call the if or the if only state. That's really what it's about, okay? It's the if only I had more money, I'd be happy. If I had a better relationship with my spouse, I'd be happy. If I had a better job, I'd be happy. If I had more friends, I'd be happy. If, all ifs. None of them realities, none of them truisms, but they tend to be protective for us, okay? So we can live in this land of if. So if we want to break through all this, we got to get rid of these anchors. We have to recognize that uncertainty is useless for us. We got to recognize that doubt only leads to fear. Recognize that fear leads to the opportunity to make no decisions whatsoever and procrastinate. And then brings us into the world of denial, where we tend to not even recognize everything around us because of what we're doing. And lastly, we have to break through the unhappiness. If you're going to be happy, you have to be happy because you're going to be happy. Okay? It's a state of mind, happiness. It's not a condition, it's a state of mind. So lastly, in closing out today, I did want to tell you again about FES, the FES protection plan, how it impacted me even. I had some nicks and some dents on my credit record. In the B's, the B plus kind of arrangement. But now, in less than a year, I'm A plus. I've increased over 80 points on my credit record, and it's done quite well. So I've learned quite a bit, through my FES protection plan, things I didn't know before, things I was not aware of. So I didn't know what I didn't know, and this plan was great for me. And that's why I got involved in helping other people take on this plan, because I think it's the first step. I think it's the greatest first step to financial independence anybody can take, is to really get a handle on credit and debt and understand them, and then move forward and build your foundation from there. So FES protection plan for you right over here on my right-hand side, okay? So today, hopefully that has helped you. Remember our white papers here, the 5 mental anchors that are keeping you financially dependent. I hope that broke through a little. Please watch this little video that's attached for our inner circle members. I think that's something that can really, really benefit you. For those who truly want to get a handle and become financially independent, we try to give you good information here, but there's so much more that we can do from the inner circle. So much more. So again, I'm Carl Schilling. I'm so thankful to be with you. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow and right here at Financial Transformation. You have a magnificent day.